Oh, and it's not playing, and I'm live. Welcome, 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 every goddess, to our Moonday Magic, our Moonday Message, actually, for today, August 11th, 2025. And it does feel a little bit magical to me right now because I haven't been with you in a couple of weeks. And in the meantime, of not being with you, so many exciting things have been happening for me. And I think I started to tell you about them when I said that focusing so much on the summer of self love and the summer of self care that I had so many wonderful, exciting things begin to happen for me. And they really, really have. And so I want to tell you a little bit about that, um, and why I have been away from you, what's going on now, what's going to continue to go on, and how things will proceed from here. So beautiful and luminous goddesses. I have to say, it feels really good to be back with you. And what really kept me away was two things. One, I am in the middle of a big move. And so um, I'm not quite here and there yet, but that's what I'm working on. So I have really kind of blossomed in this move because it was one that was I was waiting for a really, really, really long time. So it just kind of came into fruition, kind of coalesced together, and so that's what I'm working on right now. The second thing is my son came to visit from California. He moved out to California last year, and so he came back to visit. And this time he brought his girlfriend, who I really, really like, and who I hope the two of them will be able to make a life together if that's what they desire to do. And if not, as long as everybody's happy, I'm happy. I'm happy as a mom that um, I just want for my children to be with people who will treat them well. That's it. I was just saying to another um, surrogate daughter of mine tonight that the thing that I really, a lot of the things that I really used to sweat over, I don't do that anymore. I've been able to release them because heaven knows there's enough going on in the world that can make you crazy that you don't need to make yourself crazy worrying about insignificant things. So that's where I have been, and there's also a couple of other really good and juicy things that have been happening for me in this time, and I hope that during this time the same thing has happened for you. So before we get into what we're going to talk about tonight, I put this new lighter. You have to press this part and this part at the same time to get anything done, and it's driving me a little bit crazy, but it works really, really well. And I want to give you guys a really great blessing tonight. I've already lit the candles before we got started, but now here we go. And I actually have a bundle of white sage that I found. This is one of the many blessings that I have found in clearing out my space is I found a whole bunch of crystals I forgot I even owned. I found sage and incense and all kinds of other goodies that I forgot I owned. And so I have to say, I am back. I am renewed, recharged, and ready to walk with all of you into the next chapter of our sacred journey together. So, blessings to you tonight, blessings to those you care about tonight, and let's move on. I really want to express gratitude to all those people who were part of our summer of self care so far. And, I was thinking in the beginning of July when I started this, how can I have a summer of self care if I really just plan for about 31 days, the month of July of being our summer of self care? Well, we had a little break in the middle. So now we're going to continue on starting tomorrow. We're going to continue on with our daily affirmations and care and continue to honor ourselves for the rest of the summer. Okay. Um, we've been moving through daily affirmations, reflections, practices that root us in the truth that caring for ourselves is not selfish, it is sacred. We can honor these practices as being sacred to ourselves, to our journey, to our personal purpose and mission, and recognize that we each need to honor ourselves. We each need to take care of ourselves as we go through this journey together. And if you'd like, in the comments, you can um, share your favorite practice that we've gone through so far this summer, or you can offer your own short self care tip so that you can share with others what you've learned this summer, or maybe you even before this summer, about how to care for yourself. Okay, so let's take a deep breath together and release. Take a deep breath together and release. Take a deep breath together and release. And let go of all of the cares of the day. Let go of any disappointments. Let go of anything that didn't go quite your way. And welcome back in all that did go right for you today. All the ways that the goddess of the universe showed up for you today. And be in gratitude for all of those things. And sometimes we also need to be in gratitude for the things that didn't go right and maybe led us in a different path in a different way and allowed us to see ourselves differently than we have before. So I also wanted to talk about the Lions Gate. Now, it turned out that we did not have our Lionsgate portal event, basically because I became unavailable on that day to all due to all the wonderful things happening unexpectedly for me at that time. But I want you to understand something about the Lionsgate portal. We celebrated on the 8th, but that is only the high point of the Lionsgate portal because it's a portal. It lasts a little while. It lasts during the dog day, what we call the dog days of summer, right? Kind of from mid July to mid August. And the high point of that is the 8-8 portal. So that's when the energy is the strongest. But that does not mean that that portal is closed and that our strongest time to manifest for ourselves isn't still upon us right now. So I want you to understand that the energy that you're feeling right now, and especially since that lovely retrograde is over, that the energy you're feeling right now can still manifest um, into anything that you desire right now. So please do not give up on the Lionsgate portal just yet because she is still awake and she is still open and she is still connected with the lion headed goddess Sekhmet. Okay? Now, excuse me. Um, we understand that this lion headed goddess embodies strength, divine power, and most of all, truth telling. So it's time as we get back to our self love and our self care that we open ourselves up to being the most honest we can be with ourselves. And sometimes that's the hardest part of taking care of ourselves, admitting our faults, our failings, the ways that we have not stood up for ourselves, the way that we have fallen down on the job, the way that we have not been as kind to ourselves or to others as we should have been, the ways that we didn't take advantage of opportunities because we let fear or self doubt get in the way. So it's time to be completely honest with ourselves. And only when we kind of strip away that layer of bullshit that we like to tell ourselves about ourselves, that we can really get down to the nitty gritty honesty of who we are. And we do that without shame. We do that without um, worrying about what other people think. We do that without blaming ourselves, without guilt, without remorse. We can simply admit what is. And just off the top, I think of one thing. I am a procrastinator. I love to do things at the last minute. That to me is when it feels urgent, vibrant, alive, and when I want to do things. If I've got 10 years or 10 months or sometimes even 10 days to get something done, that's not when I feel called to do it. When I feel called to do it is like at the last minute, you got 2 days left, but you got to figure everything out and you got to do something in a proper way. That's when it appeals to me. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. But there are things that happen in my life because of that. And either I can live with those results or I need to change my ways. And there are some ways in which I have said to myself that although I love to be that last minute Annie, as my grandmother would have called it, um, there are some ways that I need to plan ahead and to get things in order long before they're actually due, or do my part way before the deadline. And I've accepted that too. And I have tried to work it in my life so that the things that I really need to work ahead, I do. But I allow myself that procrastinate procrastinative urge. I don't know if you can call that at times when I can, because I love that feeling of urgency, and it's got to get done right this minute. That's just something that appeals to me, and I'm honest about it. And I do not apologize for that. That's just part of my nature that I am willing to accept for myself. And you may find that there are some parts of yourself that you're like, everybody may have a problem with it, but I love this part of me. And I intend to allow this part of me to have her head and behave how she wants to. Okay. But be honest with yourself. It may drive everybody else crazy if you do that. Okay. And you may find yourself apologizing for doing the things that you love, for other people who, for them that just drives them crazy. But be honest about it. And then there is no shame to it. There's no shame to having parts of yourself that other people may not love to pieces, even if you do. Okay. So as we go into and continue to exist in this Lionsgate portal, let's be honest with ourselves, brutally honest. Look at ourselves in the mirror and be able to say that we love who we see, whether there are faults or foibles or anything else going on there that other people might object to. If there's something that you wish to change about yourself, by all means do so. Figure out how to change what you don't want to see in yourself, but honor those aspects of yourself that you do really appreciate and you do love. Okay. So we also want to think as at this time as we return to our work in self-love and self-care, we also want to stop thinking about what we should do or what we shouldn't do, what other people tell us is appropriate and what isn't, and to really focus on the desires that we have for ourselves, how we wish to conclude, to live our lives, and to be happy with ourselves. And to recognize we don't have to dim ourselves for anybody else. We can live fully and completely who we are without fear that someone else may not like us. And I recognize that I'm not for everybody. Everybody doesn't have to like me. That was a hard lesson to learn for me, myself, that everybody doesn't have to like me. And that, you know, maybe sometimes I do things so that people can actively dislike me so they can just go away. But I don't have to be nice or palatable. I do have to be kind to other people. I do have to recognize that other people have needs in this world that sometimes may supersede my own. But being nice, being palatable, uh, dulling myself down to make somebody else happy, that's not in my purview. And in fact, I was talking with a client the other day, and she was talking about wanting to, be humble about her accomplishments. And I said, well, why would you want that of all things? Because what is humility except making yourself small enough for other people to find you palatable? And to me, that doesn't make any kind of sense. If you want to do anything, why not help that other person shine just as much as you do? Maybe there's some way you can be of service to them to show them just how brilliantly they can shine without having to dull yourself down or dumb yourself down or make yourself not look as good or be humble. I don't know anybody who got anywhere in the world being truly humble. There are a lot of people that will pretend to be humble, but they're not humble at all. They're really just, that's why we have the phrase humble brag. They're just downplaying themselves to seem humble, but they're really not. So let us shine just as brightly as the summer sun, as the solar disk that Sekhmet wears upon her head. Let us shine as brightly as we can and enjoy our lives and those around us. And finally, I want to talk to you about what comes next. Because, as I'm telling you, so much has come forward for me in the summer that I haven't even been able to keep up with everything that I've even promised to you to be there for you for the Lionsgate um, portal blessing that I wanted to give. And I think what I may do is just have um, a quick session where we talk about the um, that energy a little bit more within one of my groups. I think I'm going to go into the Radiant Womb group and share that there. But coming in September, I really want to celebrate as the month of abundance because we all have so much within our lives and within ourselves that I really want to highlight all of the abundance that we have, how we can bring in greater abundance, and what we're going to do with all that abundance that we bring in. What are we going to do? We're going to talk about healing our scarcity mindsets, activating receiving energy. And here's the part where most women have difficulty. Some women can't even receive a nice compliment without trying to turn it back. Oh no, you look so much nicer than I do. No, accept that compliment and allow someone else to give that to you. tapping into different goddess archetypes of wealth and plenty, and there are plenty of them. We're going to invite you to journal about where abundance already exists in your life, to identify where you still feel lack, and we all do. Let's be realistic, okay? Unless you're up there in the billionaire class, and I hope you're not, because I think we won't even go into that. I'll take that back. But we all have things that we wish for that we don't have, whether they're tied to money or time or people around us. We all have ways in which we lack all that we could have in our life, all that we wish to have in our life. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? But if you are feeling a lack, say you're feeling a lack of companionship, find a new girlfriend, boyfriend, friend to go places with. If you feel like you are lacking in money, go out and maybe get a new side hustle. Maybe stop looking at what you don't have and stop maybe spending money on things you don't need. However it is that we can increase the abundance of what you desire, that's what we're going to work on in September. Okay. And we're going to start by setting one really bold intention for September. Okay. And we're not going to do that right now. But when we come to September, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to set that beautiful intention for summer, for September, for abundance. And remember, this summer of self love and self care is going to be continuing starting tomorrow. So I hope that you will walk in love. May you rest in your worth. And may the doors of abundance swing open for you this week and every week. And we're working on that in September. I thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really do appreciate those people who come in, even if it's briefly, even if it's for a few minutes, and spend their time with us. And I thank you all, and I will see you next time. Thank you.